All right, aloha guys. Welcome back to our live stream on the Moving Hawaii YouTube channel.
What's up, guys?
To our podcast out in Podcast Land, the Hawaii Real Estate Podcast. Today we made a nice clickbaity title.
I love this thumbnail. Good job, Kenji.
Yeah, there was a saying going around, marry the house, date the rate. When the rates shifted in 2022 into 2023. It was a very simple, oversimplified way to state the concept that if you purchase a home while rates are high, if that implies that prices are lower than they otherwise would be in a better interest rate climate, purchase the home at a low price and eventually refi to a better price, assuming you're in it for a long period of time, which as often as possible when you buy real estate, you should generally try to be in it for a long period of time. You can be more principled and less strategic and tactical the longer the amount of time the hold, typically, especially in Hawaii. But so marry the house, date the rate isn't the worst thing in the world, but it just sounds cheap.
Yeah.
It's like a doctor
it's just like one
you,
of those like salesy things that it's like a gimmicky.
And the reason why we're revisiting it today is because it's been 3 years since 2022. And when the interest rates shift and that saying really started coming around, and there are some people selling who are underwater versus, so there's all sorts of things. We want to talk about that a bit today. It would be like a doctor. What would be like a doctor? It'd be like, just send it for the knee surgery and do the PT later. Or,
yeah. Okay.
How about some pre-T?
Yeah.
How about we try and not go to surgery?
How about we do some yoga, as you would say?
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I got clipped that. Mahe wanting to do yoga.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you would say that.
Leave us a comment out there. These guys on my team are ridiculous. They won't do yoga.
It's not that I won't do yoga. It's that I just don't do yoga.
No,
I just don't ever want to do
yoga. Yeah, it is not just the.
Listen, I'll do a core power yoga if they play some loud music or something. But I'm just very ADD in the gym.
If it's hip hop music,
not even hip hop. Just I'm thinking more like fog machine, like Mahu Bar kind, like that kind. There's core power yoga with weights in it that I've been to a class like that before at the core power yoga in Ward. And I was just shooketh by the level of Lady Gaga that was playing. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. I was like, I didn't know yoga could be this.
I can't even say what I want to say on the air, so to speak.
Good.
Yeah. But anyways, back to real estate. So yeah, it'd be like it's just
he said tropical ding dong. That's a hilarious name, by the way. I mean, ain't that what doctors do?
Right. And it's wrong. Ask a surgeon if you should cut. They're gonna say cut. I remember my kid he had fallen and hit the side. Dane fell and hit the side of a stool and it cut open his lip right here, but didn't cross the border. I guess that's you could smash the inside of your mouth as long as it doesn't cross this border of your lip. Mm-hmm. You're okay. And I guess that's a thing. But I texted. I was more recent out of the medical field years ago. So I text my friends at Stanford. My one friend was at the ER and he's like, oh, I showed it to the surgeon. He said, yeah, man, got to go into surgery. The emergency room physician was like, yeah, ask a surgeon if you should cut. He's going to say cut. You don't need to go into surgery for this. It sucks, but it'll heal. You don't need to go into surgery. And so anyways, yeah, physicians do that thing, but it's wrong. And so for agents or lenders to say, just buy the house. Generally, we are also a proponent of buying real estate. Generally, I think Dave Ramsey is correct that if you survey people with a 7-figure net worth in America, the majority of them are anchored in their 7 figures by real estate. Homeowners, the stat that college graduates make more on average. That's actually, I think, less true and less what's the word? I know that stat is true, but it's heavily skewed because people doing basket weaving
it's
studies.
More anecdotal than everybody thinks. It's not.
Yeah, it's the engineers and the physicians. All those are skewing the averages up, right? But home ownership leads to millionaires. It just does. Leads to more wealthy people. We are a proponent. We advocate for home ownership, but we don't want to put it in this simple packaging that sounds.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all it's not a blanket statement that can be used.
And Hawaii's not always appreciating at 7%. Like when I see an agent or a lender underwriting at 7%, I'm like, bro, you are ridiculous. You cannot guarantee that people are going to live here for 3 years and experience 7%. That's not, it's not, so you should have this high level skill. Like you should be a black belt. And so therein, you should be entrusted in a different way. Like you have a different responsibility to give good advice. And telling people 7%, telling people just marry the house, date the rate, it's not a good thing. So do we have any more comments?
No.
Well, we can like, let's give an anecdote. So for example, someone could have bought a townhome for 730,000, or let's say 700,000 in 2022, in August of 2022. And especially a townhome or a condo that has a maintenance fee, that has a master insurance policy. Since then, the Maui fires have happened. Rates, although today rates are pretty good, the average of rates over those 3 years, it's been a lot worse than when they were buying. And so most townhome and condo buyers and a lot of markets right now that bought 3 years ago in 2022, they're not, if they're exiting with for a profit, it's not as much as they underwrote it for. I can guarantee you. And some, because maintenance fees have increased, interest rates are higher, they're actually selling for less, or maybe they're selling for the same as what they bought for, but because of fees and exit costs, etc., they're still just not making out, right? And so that's the truth. That's just that's the non-sexy truth, of real estate. Is it's not a guaranteed 3 years out in profit. Now, I do think if, for example, referencing military clients, some people are like, why are you guys always talking about military? It's like, well, there's a lot of military on the island.
Yeah, we have a lot here.
And a good percentage of the home buyers are active duty military, a not insignificant amount of the home buyers, percentage of the home buyers. So do I think that you should try and buy in general, if you know you're going to be somewhere 3 to 4 years and move, 3 to 4 years and move, 3 to 4 years and move, should you try and buy everywhere you go, or should you never buy? I 100% am on the buy everywhere you go. Figure it out. You go to Virginia, you go to Florida, you go to Hawaii, like buy everywhere.
What I just learned it not that long ago. What's the thing that they say, something about millionaire or something?
Military to millionaire?
Yes.
Or a military millionaire?
Yeah. I was like, I didn't even hear that before.
That's most military millionaires, because that's a perfect case study. We know what they make. Like you can just
Google it. Yeah.
Have AI now be like, hey, if you started out in E1 and then an E2, and then for 2 years you're an E3 and 2 E4, and then you retire an E6, E7, you can figure out what that person made in that time. You can assume what it cost them to exist and live in that time. How are they a millionaire at the end of a 20-year military career? Oftentimes it's having bought real estate and held it and invest
everywhere they went.
Right? So shout outs to Darren and Kirsten, who were texting this morning. They own like 3 homes, and these are you should buy in general. However, it's nuanced, and you should consider exits. You should underwrite it conservatively for sure. We could also underwrite it optimistically. So it's like when you're going to buy Nvidia, you don't only buy the stock thinking, what if it goes down? You also have to buy it with, what if it goes up? So we can underwrite it on the optimistic side, but you definitely need to underwrite it more pessimistically too, or at least more conservatively. Like what if it's a 2%, increase over time? What does that look like? So the reason for our thumbnail, the inspiration in our group chat today was, what do we talk about? We do these lives every single week. We talk about a sort of oversimplified misnomer, or that's not really a misnomer.
No, because it's true.
It's true more often than it isn't.
Yeah.
It works more often than it doesn't.
Right.
And if you choose to keep the real estate, it works even more.
Yeah. But I feel like the the unsexy version of it is like, marry the home, date the rate, but only if your job is good and your family is okay and you need to be there and you have plans to stay in that. Like, yes, the statement can work, but there are a few other like fine print things that need to be considered. And it's not always just that.
I think that's what bothers me is like, I'm okay with a physician being like, hey, if you need help, like we're good surgeons and we're here for you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're ready to cut. Good to know, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
However,
like, if you want to try PT for 6 months, it may not fix it, but it may.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, then you'll be right back in my chair and then we'll be having this conversation. Sure. Tell me that.
Or like this, like, let's underwrite the surgery is
that would be wild.
Well, you can't lift your shoulder right now. You can't do things.
Mm-hmm.
At your age, not me.
I was going to say, I'm not at your age.
At your age, sir, if we do the surgery, the studies show that 60% of people return to a quality of life better than pre-surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Another 20% return to a quality of life that was about the same, but then the rest is actually they're worse off. And usually it's because they didn't do their PT, and usually it's other things. But there's just no guarantee this is gonna like cure your life's problems. But this is the risk to benefit, analysis, and hopefully, you're 41, Derek, and you do the surgery, you actually do your rehab, and you listen. I think you'll be fine. I do think there's a good chance. I think you're 60% skewed, and it's a high chance. Just like I'm buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be here for 3 years, maybe 4. Well, I think there's a probability you're okay. But studies show that some people get screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that should be the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got any comments, questions? In the meantime, guys, go to coreteamhawaii.com. This is top of the page. You scroll all the way down to the bottom. And hey, leave me a comment. Look at that. You guys can see the screen. Kenny's one looks kind of like Kenny. Look, Aiden one looks kind of like Aiden. Why they got me looking like Joe Coy and somebody else had a
oh, that's you. Okay, I was like, that's literally you.
No, not that one.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That is me. But yeah, I told Debbie.
No, my daughter cracks up
when she sees mine.
Yes. She's like, oh my God, look at Uncle Derek's head. I'm like, I know.
So someone messaged me. They're like, you definitely look better in person. I was like, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I think they're hilarious.
I told Debbie, I said, you guys, our media assistant, I said, if we had to use an old, younger photo of me, I don't care, but something's got to be done. Hey, look, this is generally me. Granted, it's a headshot. I don't look like that all the time, but this is the same person, bro. Yeah. Aiden, Kenny's is the most spot on.
Yeah, Kenny's to me always looks like.
If you're watching in podcast world, we have this these animations that we post on our Instagram, like AI generated caricatures, and yeah. So down on the bottom here, this is our contact form. Fill that out. Sunday through Thursday, currently our assistants there during most business hours, ready to call you right back.
Tropical Ding Dong. Thanks for the engagement, because he's like
blowing it up
hella in the comments. So let's get to some of his. It's because if you live off base, you get the COLA additional pay, then you can do a VA loan. And in most military communities, they've been in some kind of house that whole time. He says he called in a few weeks ago about selling. Now he has a question about buying. My wife and I, did we talk already?
Yeah, he said he did.
Okay.
Well, we spoke.
Called in a few weeks. My wife and I moved to Hawaii with a long-term plan of buying a farm. The plan was to just buy any house for the first few years, live in it, then get that forever home sometime down the line, getting into that sometime down the line time period. What are your thoughts on farm or agricultural properties? Are there any gotchas or other things to think about?
Hey, Tropical Ding Dong, you're not the one who is married to my classmate, huh?
Also, have y'all ever dealt with
he called in about buying
FSA loans?
Does it mean FHA?
I don't know.
FSA. I actually don't know. Is there FSA loan? I'm gonna admit
Do you
my
mean
ignorance.
FHA or if it's FSA?
Is it like a teacher thing? Farm? Oh, it's a farm loan thing.
So admittedly, we don't do a lot of work with farms or
Oahu's
ag.
just not a market.
Yeah.
Big Island agents would know about farms more.
Yeah. What are the gotchas? I wouldn't say it's something we specialize in. There's not a lot of opportunity for us to do that kind of work. We would certainly like heavily get into it because once we're doing something, we're all pretty obsessive about it and we will really learn.
Yeah.
But we actually haven't had the opportunity to do one. We work mostly in like residential. We don't really do ag.
There just isn't the opportunity for it.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, not that 0 farms are sold on Oahu, but not even 0.5%.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you called in and you specifically had a full-on farm need, we would look at it and we did have one on the west side that we looked at. That one we could sell. It makes sense. We would actually probably be positioned the best to market and sell that property. But in general, like special cowboy ranch kind, it would depend. It'd be on a case-by-case basis. If we didn't feel we could help you, we would refer you because we don't want to get in the way of your best interest.
Yeah. Michael Hume. What's up, Michael? You can refinance a rate, fingers crossed, but you can't refinance a bad purchase price. Housing is overvalued right now, and a reality check might be on the horizon, he says. I'm just saying it really depends on someone's circumstances. But with economic conditions this frothy, it's harder for most people to justify taking on the risk of a big mortgage payment now.
What's the name?
Michael Hume.
Michael, thank you for the comment. I am going to reply to that in a way that realtors would appreciate. Not that I'm trying to be salesy, but the thing is sometimes bears are right. Sometimes bulls are right. But over the long run, bulls are always right. So what I mean is sometimes a more pessimistic, the market's overvalued, things have to crash. I lived through 2008. I lived through the .com boom. There's been too much quantitative easing. There's all these reasons why the market could and should crash. But the problem is if you're out of the market waiting for the crash, here's the thing. What are the chances you're going to buy during the crash? What chances you have the ability to? What are the chances are that you have the will, like the cojones to, right? You have the olos to buy in 2008 when people are jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge because their whole 401k went to poof, and what are the chances? And what are the chances you could qualify, right? Because I have a story about a physician that couldn't qualify for a loan in 2008. Timing the market is really hard. It's not timing the market, it's time in the market. And so
that is a gimmicky one-liner that I can get behind.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. And so while you could be right, here's the thing. I just bought a place. I bought it for too much. I shouldn't have paid what I paid. But you can make that decision when you're buying a primary residence. If you're buying like a second home, you shouldn't buy that way. But I guess unless money is just not a thing to you. Money is a thing to me. I'm not in that position in life yet. However, and it made me uncomfortable. I'm still a little uncomfortable about it, but it's where I raise my kids. It's where we have dinner, and it's just life is better now for having bought it. But I paid too much, and I need you to not be right soon or it hurts more. Whenever you are right, whenever the bears and the pessimists are right, whether it's in a year or, the longer out, the more I'll be able to stomach it, right? I need the market to catch up to my decision before it crashes, and hopefully catch up to my decision and beyond before it crashes. So you could be right. Housing is overvalued. Well, here's the thing. We still have a housing shortage. Mm-hmm. We still have more Americans who want a house than have a house. That's only exacerbated by the lack of Oahu land. Mm-hmm. You have way more Hawaiians and Americans who want a house that don't have a house. The cost because whether you want to blame, acknowledge, I should say, the tariff inflation or general inflation through QE, etc. the dollar is devalued, so therefore the cost to build everything, the cost of screws and asphalt and concrete and lumber, etc., is just more, copper, you name it. And so while you might be right, to if a house were to burn down today, to rebuild it isn't cheap, most times isn't cheaper than what the person bought it for.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of reasons why housing has been really resilient. So even through the 2022 shift, it didn't shift as much as you'd have thought. You know, affordability from 2021 to 2023 became so much worse, but people are still buying and prices barely suffered. And so you could be right. I have no crystal ball, but a bear is right sometimes. A bull is always right over time. And so buy good things, stay in the market, stay in them a long time. And those are good principles to approach, whether it's the stock market or the housing market. Buy good desirable things, and don't sell them for a long time or ever. And I think
Jody.
we're going to be okay. Yeah.
We have some more comments. Let's get through them.
Okay.
This is from Ashley K. What's up, Ashley?
What's up, Ashley?
I hope you're taking it easy because she's sick.
I heard you're the best, Ashley.
There's been rumors. Yeah, that's right. Her birthday is tomorrow, and she's signing tomorrow.
How
and
old
her
is
husband
Lahana?
promotes tomorrow.
A lot going on tomorrow.
All the good stuff. So, okay, Jody's gonna call you soon. Drink water, please. I know you're sick. She said, we almost decided to rent instead, but we're so glad we made the decision to jump in now. Jumping in on that raft, getting your paddle going in the river.
That's what she said?
No, I'm saying that.
Oh, dang.
No, sorry, she didn't memorize your anecdote.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a parable that could be passed on through generations.
Let's see. Kevin Davis, when purchasing a condo, what would be a red flag sign concerning the AOAO fees, reserve funds, etc.? When you, as a consumer, as a home purchaser, are looking at them, at the fees, then there may not be like a blatant red flag visible to you, but there are things that we can do further research on to see whether it's red flaggy or not.
Lender will look at that too. For example, we had one recently that couldn't qualify for FHA because they didn't have enough reserve funds. So they could still qualify FHA, but they couldn't do 5% down. With the lack of reserve funds, the FHA required
lack of contribution to the reserve funds, like the percentage of money that they were contributing to the reserve funds wasn't high enough. Yeah.
So basically, what they're saying is capital expenditure. So we're gonna have to repave. We're gonna need a new roof. We're gonna need all these things of repaint. Looks like you aren't budgeting enough, you know, and so therefore, I need you to put more down because this neighborhood, this community, this building looks more risky. So basically, we're like, oh, this yellow paint gonna have to get repainted every 10 years, and it's gonna cost $100,000 every 10 years. But you're only saving at a rate that'll get you to 50,000. So now lender requires more because they're like, well, that's a riskier neighborhood. The chances that neighborhood's gonna go belly up, kind of like you see. I think we were talking about some ridiculous example recently where you're like, the person's broke, but then they're doing this.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
I forgot. It was yesterday.
I can't.
But it's kind of like that. Sometimes you see behavior, you know, like the person who had to borrow money from you, but then you also see them out drinking.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the risky person. If ever you got to do, you know, lend that money again, you might have to put different terms in it. So... yeah, those are one of the things you can look at with the AOAO and reserve funds. Yeah. Jody's going to be coming in. She can talk more about that as well.
Also, things that you'll see, like usually will be disclosed and pretty visible to you is like, are there assessments? What's the assessment for? How long is the assessment for? Just, you know.
Is there litigation? So
yeah,
is the building getting sued? But is the building also suing anyone else? Because it's actually a red flag if they're suing someone else because you're like, how come?
That's weird.
Come you guys get problem with the plumbing company,
but also like litigation is not necessarily always a bad thing. Like sometimes litigation is like stupid stuff that like, for example, you have like 10 years to litigate against a new building when you buy a new construction. So a lot of times at like year 8 or 9,
you just get
all kinds of stuff like that people are wanting to litigate. And it'll be like, oh, in this hallway by the pool, the tile there is slippery. You know, so it can be a structural litigation, which is a problem for lending.
Or sometimes like where I own in Coalina, they're litigating against one of the owners because they just think there's less than 30-day renting going on, and it's just a political scuffle.
Yeah. So, litigation,
Social.
big scary word, big scary, potentially big scary thing, but not
Makes
always.
me sound smart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never say suing each other.
Oh, they suing each other.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Jody's like, oh my God, I went to Iolani to be here for this.
Hey, we went cam.
Yeah. Different cams.
Aloha State of Mind. What would it take to develop a mobile home park in Hawaii? That's legit affordable. You just cannot.
You can't have mobile homes in Hawaii. If you did, we would have them everywhere. Yeah. If you could, you would have them everywhere.
That's the risk and why it's just not a thing here, because if you could, it would, and it would be everywhere.
Yeah. What Michael Hume says, haha, not to sound like that pessimist, gross. Sorry, I just responded the way I respond, but on the flip, I agree. Despite high prices and rates, tight supply, strong demand for millennials, rising home equity make real estate a long-term bet. Yeah, I mean, long-term is the key, right?
Yeah.
Most things, if you buy into an index fund right now, if you zoom out the next 20 years, I bet you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Ashley said that is the analogy that made me approach my husband with the idea. Same day after seeing that video.
Cover your ears, Ken.
No, don't.
Mic drop.
Oh, okay.
Nah,
I thought she was gonna clap.
I'm not gonna let him hit the ground. Oh, thanks, Ashley. That makes me feel
I'm
good.
really stoked for their family. So, hey, turn your volume down.
I'm trying.
Then. I'm about to get out of here. I'm gonna just finish reading the comments we have, and then Jody's gonna come talk
Tropical
story.
Ding Dong. What is your first name?
Yeah,
that means we spoke about selling your home, and I want to make sure I remember.
And he says condo fees in Hawaii are ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, depends where you're coming from, what you're used to. I was showing Elisa, Jody, and the condo fees where they're from is could be like $80.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's crazy,
Yeah.
But they don't cover a bunch of stuff too. They don't cover a lot of the stuff that our HOAs do, like water, sewer, all of that, whatever.
Yeah.
And they also don't cover master insurance, which is yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah. So, it really depends on the market you're coming from.
Where is this at?
Reno.
How could they not cover? I'll start with Jody on that. But I'm wondering.
I think that's an association, like a ho'opili, and not like a townhouse or whatever.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe.
Because if you're sharing walls, you have to.
Do you have to?
Insurance policy, yeah.
There's no way around that?
Well, because think about it. Say there's
right?
ABC.
But what about when you have shared walls in a attached home though? They don't have master insurance together.
Occasionally duplexy or the ones in Mililani, the attached single family that are really that's a misnomer. That's not, they're not single family at all.
Oh, I know the row houses.
Yeah, they're just they just have agreements that leave the homeowner more vulnerable. I would in fact rather have an association and living in that situation than not.
Yeah.
So some people think they're cheating the system by buying that. I would say you're cheating yourself. Yeah, in most cases.
But yeah, our HOA fees are not low.
They're not low.
But
they low.
They low.
Which means
crazy
and Hawaiian. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Jody's gonna come in.
See you guys next time.
Bruh, condo fees. Kevin Davis says mahalos. All right, we have Jody from Pacific Rim Mortgage coming in. What are some, back to the question earlier, what are some things you see on HOA docs that are red flags?
So you guys talked about budget.
Budget, litigation, what else?
Owner occupancy.
Percentage.
When
does it become a problem for Fannie and Freddie lending?
For if you're doing an investment purchase, it's going to be if it's below 51%. And that's a hard stop.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And that's
wait.
Yep.
But a lot of investment purchases are in places below 51%, like a la Co'olina.
Then it's portfolio.
I did go Bank of Hawaii. Yeah.
So that's a hard stop.
How do you guys check it?
So there's we call the management company.
It's not just what the agent puts on the MLS.
We don't really typically trust that.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them just put 51%.
Yeah, well, there's no way for even for the management company to actually for sure know. That they can base it off of mailing address.
And that's all they base it off of.
But
so they're not saying they base it off of anything else. And we've asked before, like this was a decade ago, but where we would be like, hey, so of the California ones or the out of state mailing addresses, some of them actually occupy.
yeah.
Would you be able to find out which ones actually occupy so that you could update the owner occupancy ratio? And we've gotten it updated to where it was now 51%.
It would benefit the building to be 51 or above because you want values. You want more lending means more buyers, which typically mean more liquidity means higher prices. So
there's a lot of places where people would be doing investment purchases, but they can't because they might not be able to qualify for a portfolio loan.
Okay.
Because portfolio loans have lower overall debt to income ratio allowances. And so where it worked for Fannie Mae, but now the property you like has an owner occupancy ratio below 51%. So even though everything else lines up, we have to look at a portfolio option for you. So now you don't qualify. And so that's why I typically will do if owner occupancy ratio is below 51% maximum.
Okay.
Because that's going to be lower than if owner occupancy ratio is 51% or above maximum, which is going to be higher.
Okay.
As an investment purchase. But even if the owner occupancy ratio was like 10% and you were doing a primary residence purchase.
Someone said adjust Jody's microphone.
Oh, sorry. A primary residence purchase or a second home purchase, then owner occupancy ratio doesn't matter.
Got it. By the way, Kenji said, no, sounds good in my ears. So let me know if Jody sounded weird or something, let me know. Kenji said sound good in his ears. We didn't get any other comments, but multiple of you in there. Somebody, you guys, let us know. Do you hear us okay? What are rates today?
They're flat from last week.
So what is that?
So VA is around a 5.625 at 0 points. And then jumbo VA is at 5.75 at 0 points.
Oh, wow.
Which is only an eighth higher.
That's good. What's that spread usually?
It's between an eighth and a quarter. No,
quarter?
It's not more than a quarter higher.
Not more than a quarter on VA.
Yeah. And then conventional went up a little bit. Conventional is about 6.125 at 0 points.
Okay.
And then investment purchases are depending again on down. If you're doing 20% down, you're in the sevens, low sevens. If you're doing 25% down, you could easily be getting like a 6.5.
And what's going on in the macroeconomic world?
Well, it's funny because I read 2 articles this morning. And these are stuff that Derek sends me and then stuff that I'm just
Her brother, Derek.
Yes, not Derek-o. And one of this is just like going to be like not piss you off, but it's going to make you laugh.
Okay.
One of them said, brace for rates due to the potential government shutdown, right?
Okay.
Because literally it's like consumer confidence could go down due to concerns associated with a potential government shutdown, which would decrease demand, and also rates could go up because of the concern. And then I read another article that said potential improvement in interest rates due to the potential government shutdown. And
who are the sources of these two?
So one is MPA, which is, I don't know what that stands for, but Mortgage Professional
Association
and Associate, something. Yeah. And then the other one is like a bank rate type of article.
Okay.
And so that one concept is due to increased concerns of further recession.
Okay.
Right. Which aligns with a government shutdown.
Okay.
Rates may have to improve in order to offset this concern of this recession. So I was just like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this because, it's like, that's what you're going to get. Like, of course, rates could either go up or they could go down. Like,
I sent your brother a clip of Charlie Kirk debating someone about It's a college kid, and he's going to school for economics, and Charlie Kirk asks, do you know who, this person and this person, the names escape me, but these more free market capitalistic, economics, profound people.
Okay.
And the guy's like, never heard of him, never heard of him, never heard of him. And he's like, but have you heard of Keynes? And he's like, of course I know Keynes. And he's like, that's why you're getting an indoctrination, not an education. Point being is, and your brother was like, yeah, some truth to it, but I just, it just reminds me, Keynes. So I guess Keynes is like the grandfather of government intervention for economic swings. And every time I talk to you guys, it's like, well, this is happening, so then the government's like going to do this, and this is happening. And I know the Fed isn't technically an arm of the government, but there's certainly, like, the way modern banking goes is, will we ever have a recession? Like, when is there a big recession? One of our commenters was talking about, things being overvalued, etc. We probably are overdue for many recessions, right? But we're always intervening.
Right.
So when does it all go pop? Does it ever?
It
could. World War III?
I mean, it did in 08.
In 08, yeah.
And that was real.
Well, in 08 was, part of it was bad lending, like ninja loans, all this stuff, right? No income loans and stuff. But also there were really low rates like a few years prior. And there were really low rates a few years ago. Mm-hmm. But that's just one correlation, right? Does that mean that things are going to pop now? I don't think so. But that's one thing that someone, we all, and I'm including myself with most of the viewers, we're not macroeconomists. And I'm not, I was never going to be a CFO or anything like that. Could be scary to someone buying, like, hey, in 2007, things went crazy. In 2003 and 4, rates were at 3%. Well, it's 3 years after 2021 and 2022. Is that scary to you?
No.
No? How come?
I mean, I just feel like there is a reason for not government intervention, but there's a reason for a macroeconomic strategy. There's a reason that this quantitative easing and or increase and decrease of the overnight rate is going to help turn the ship as it needs to be turned. And that's going under the thought that all of the statistics and all of the economics being shared are accurate and true.
What if this is just total imagination, or what if somehow the Fed, the government, said mortgage rates are 5%, and that's what they'll be for the next decade. It's actually illegal to change them. Now, I'm actually not for government overreach in that sense, more for the free market, but would that be good or bad? I feel like it would be stable. You know what you wouldn't have? On the topic of today, marry the house, date the rate, which we talked about earlier. You wouldn't have fluctuations over time where people who are staying in their homes refi lower, and are like anchored to like, we can never move. Our rate's too good. We can never move. You just have this 5%. You have like a consistent market, I feel like. Yeah,
I agree. The issue is going to be more so internationally and, with our deficit and basically like national debt, which is having other countries invest in.
Buy bonds.
Right. So if the demand goes down, if we're stuck at 5%, then there's just no lever to be able to make something more enticing.
You're taking away the government's credit cards.
Yeah. I mean, you're taking away the ability to.
I feel like our government's on like same day loan or payday loan status.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, it's like, that's the thing. It's like when you look at all of the billions of dollars that are being spent, it's like you can easily hear something and say like, okay, so really they spend this much hundreds of millions on this thing?
Yeah.
Like, let's just drop that or whatever. But
Right.
it's like, really, where is that money being spent? And really,
Well, the
where is it
majority
going?
is hard to get rid of, right? Because it's Medicare, Medicaid, it's like these social programs that are, I'll forget the numbers, like 2/3 of our budget or something. So it'd be really hard to just take away Medicare. I mean, there'd literally be blood in the streets. But maybe we need to. We're not actually here to do a podcast on solving the debt crisis of America, but yeah. Anything you want to depart with, Jody?
No, I mean, I have felt the market pick up a lot.
Yeah.
And I do, there's a lot of people that mentally, I was having this conversation with someone the other day and yesterday, and I said, even though the monthly payment savings due to this lower interest rate, it's not massive. It's more of a comfort. It's consumer confidence. So
Yeah.
explaining consumer confidence is like, you can't explain consumer confidence. Like, so why does a buyer a week ago say like, I'm not budging, I'm not doing anything, I'm going to hold tight, and then all of a sudden decide to jump back in and say, hey, we want to buy now. And now they're submitting offers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard. I know. That's why that 5% sustain thing came in my head. Cause I'm like, in my recent adult life, the average is probably somewhere around 4 or 5%. And I just buy thinking that that's the principle. Like I try and approach things principally, and principally, I don't think that we'll have 2% rates again, or I won't plan on it. If we do, it's just something like bad happened.
Right.
And I don't think we're going to sustain at 8% either. So
No.
I don't know what the rate is, but if I'm in position to buy and it's the right thing for me to do, I'm just assuming it's 5-ish. And if it's not, then I'll refi when it happens. And if it is, then I'm just fortunate that it is. So yeah, that's a 5-ish, underwrite it at 5-ish. If you can refi at 2 or 3, great. I hope that whatever world crisis is happening at that time, be it COVID, 2008, September 11th, which lowered rates prior to 2008. I hope that you're okay during whatever that thing is that got us to 2% rates. So don't wait for 2% rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not coming back.
They're not coming back.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.